All right, everyone, welcome. How are you guys tonight? I'm so glad you're here. This is really awesome. Let me ask you guys, what do you guys think meditation is? Release. There's no wrong answer, by the way. So, release. What else?
Prayer.
Prayer. Anything else? I'm just kind of looking for one thing in particular.
Break from chaos.
Yes. The one thing I'm looking for is hearing. Kind of like prayer, but you hear a voice that is peaceful, loving. It's in you. It's not out there. It's inside. And it's the voice of love and healing, like Morgan said. So we're going to get into that tonight. So the first part of tonight is I'm going to talk to you guys about what neuroscience has found out about our brain. I went to, her name's Kelly McGonigal. She's a neuroscience psychologist. She studies neuroscience, and she's also a yogi. So that's so cool because she really bridges the gap, and she's a scientist. She's a brain scientist. So she is also a yoga student and loves yoga and got into yoga because yoga helped her heal. But she studies the brain. And she studies clinical studies, and she's able to put people in scenarios, and they put them in brain scanners, and they watch the areas of the brain fire up. And it's all sorts of different tests that they do on people. And I'm going to talk to you guys about that tonight in particular and how it is related to yoga and meditation specifically. So yoga is the path to happiness, enlightenment. A lot of people look at yoga and they think it's the poses, but yoga is a way of life. Yoga is being loving. It's your outer experiences, how you treat people, how you treat animals, how you treat anything, you know, your view on the world. And then also how you are with yourself. Yoga is also the poses. So those are called asanas. Those are the poses that we do in a yoga room like this. And that's just one portion of what yoga is. Yoga is also meditation. So if you guys can say, I do yoga, and all you do is meditate, that's fine. That's yoga. You can have concentration techniques where you focus on certain things like we're going to do tonight. This is part of getting you to enlightenment, focusing on something, concentrating on something. Withdrawal of the senses, so you're turning inwards. And then eventually you get to samadhi, which is becoming one with the Creator, one with the divine. And some people get there in meditation, where they feel this, almost this rapture, this moment where they're completely absorbed in light and enlightenment and love, and they get tingles all over their body, and they know that this is not something of the world, and they get hooked on meditation. They get hooked on concentration. They get hooked on this withdrawing of the senses and pulling everything inwards because they've reached this place that's not of the world. You know, it's really important for us to really understand that our brains are so active, and there's no right or wrong way with meditation. Meditation is a practice. And so what I just wanted to talk to you guys real quick about is, who am I? Some of you might know who I am, some of you might not. But my name is Liz Nierzwicki, and I'm the owner of Solace. I opened Solace in 2011, January of 2011. It's awesome. I love it. It's a place of healing. The word solace means peace. It means comfort, release, and that is my vision for this studio, is that people walk in the door and they feel immediately comfortable. And they come into a place where there's no judgment, there's no, worry, that they can just come in here and they can let go of everything that's going on at work, at home, and just, come in. And we see people of all sorts that come in here. Sometimes they're ticked off and they're not very happy with us, and there's not us, they're just not happy when they come in. We see people who come in and they're in tears. We see people who are speeding to get to yoga so that they can calm down. That's a very common one, actually. We see people who are going through healing. You know, they're healing from some sort of trauma or cancer or a breakup or a divorce. And you guys, it's an array, you know. With yoga, that's the first step for many people. And a lot of people get into yoga and then they start to get inside of here. And some people cry on the yoga mat and you don't even know it. And they're just in tears. And some people, you know, it's kind of like an awakening. And you really get connected to yourself. So yoga, in my opinion, is the first domino in many dominoes. That it's a path to you, learning about you. And then comes meditation. And then you're like, why can't I tame this thing? Why won't I just like shut up? And why can't I just have this like clear channel to hear what the messages are from our divine creator? Right? Because I want that and I want to know everything, but my brain won't stop going. Okay? So this is not a personal problem. This is a human problem. We all have this problem. And so that is why you're here tonight. And I want you guys to, this is our first little meditation exercise. It's only going to be 1 minute. This is our first exercise. I want you guys to imagine a big, expansive, clear blue sky. Okay? So go ahead and close your eyes. And just imagine this big blue, which is what we're not getting right now in Indiana, this big blue, expansive sky. It may have some clouds in it, but I want you to try to imagine that it's pretty cloudless and it's pretty, you know, empty. It's just big and bright and blue. And go ahead and just try and empty your mind. Okay, take a breath and release the clear sky and open your eyes. How'd it go? Did anybody have no thoughts? Were you completely clear and empty? Did anybody time travel? Did you go anywhere in the past or future? Did you think about what's after this tonight? Next week, Christmas? Last year, what happened? What happened when you were a kid? Did you think about this room? It's too hot, too cold. I don't like my hair. I know you're not going to tell me, and that's okay. But this is what neuroscientists have found. That when they ask people to not think, they can't do it. When we are asked not to think and not concentrate on something, our brain actually becomes very active. And this is what they have coined as our default brain state. It's what we have evolved with, and it also is basically what helped us to evolve. Okay? So what they found is that we have 4 natural brain states. And most of the time, when we are trying to not think about something, we're doing one of these 4 things. And we can be doing it even when we are in the middle of laundry or showering, even when we're doing something, even when we are kind of concentrating on something. Most of the time, we're doing one of these 4 things. And many times we're doing a combination of them. But this is natural for our brain. So you ready? You want to know what they are? Okay, do you guys have pen and paper? You might want to write these down. They are, the first one is commentary. So your brain starts to narrate on what is going on. It's too hot in here. It should be cooler. The lighting is too bright. How can I meditate when the lights are this bright? It smells funny, you know, just whatever. Your brain starts to commentate on what is going on. Basically trying to fix the current situation. Okay? But helpfully trying to create an alternate reality. It shouldn't be so hot in here. That person shouldn't have said this. That person should have said this instead. We're judging, we're critiquing, we're commentating. This is all internal, okay? The second thing that happens is we time travel. We either go to the past and we go to a story that is happening, that's already happened to us. And maybe it's something that happened last week and we replay it over and over. And we give that story gasoline and fire. We're the ones who are fueling it because we keep replaying it. Or we're thinking about something that's happening that maybe we want to happen. We're visualizing something in the future. Maybe what's going to be for dinner, or maybe what we want our new house to, our dream house to be like. We're visualizing something, right? Okay. A lot of times it's just time traveling to the past or the future. And we're just escaping. We're not here. We're not in the present moment. And so the wisdom tradition, yoga tradition, and the path to enlightenment found that this creates stress and suffering. And that when we're not actually in the present moment, we're actually creating problems for ourselves because we're not experiencing what's here and now and in front of us. There's a quote from the book A Course in Miracles, I think. Read so many books in the last year. I think it's from that book. It could be from Fix Your Life, Louise Hay. It says, you don't have any problems. You only think you do. So right now in this space, I'm sure that all of us can say we have problems, right? But right now, right here, it doesn't look to me like any of you have any problems. You look healthy, you look happy. Life is good, but we're creating problems and we harp on them and we escape and we try to have alternate realities. Okay, but right now, life's pretty good, right? We're learning how to meditate. So, the third thing that our brain does is what neuroscientists have called self-referential processing. And self-referential processing is when we are starting to create a rigid sense of self. When we say, I am the type of person who, yada, yada, yada. I am not the kind of person who does this, yada, yada, yada. The wisdom tradition and many like psychologists, they will call this the ego. Okay? We're creating a rigid sense of who we think we are or who we want to be. And sometimes people are like, oh, there's nothing wrong with that, right? We're creating this rigid sense of self. I like to know who I am, right? So that's okay. We're just gonna, I'll come back on that. And the fourth thing that we do is social cognition. And social cognition is basically, does anybody find themselves doing this? Comparing. That's a big one. We compare ourselves to the person next to us, She's got better hair than I do. You know, I like her shirt. She probably has more money than me. You know, look at that car he drives. You know, we're comparing, socially creating and enforcing this rigid sense of self that we create. Okay, so that's social cognition. Okay, so these are what we do. These are the 4 categories. So we've got commentating, we've got time traveling, we've got self-referential processing, and social cognition. This should be kind of exciting to learn this. And some of you have a terrified look on your face. Don't let it scare you. Because now that you know this, you know there's nothing wrong with you. You're just like everybody else. We all do this. It's a natural brain thing. So that's actually quite awesome. So the yoga tradition teaches us that all this activity that we're doing is actually a big source of suffering because it can be creating problems. Now, we want to have a brain that is intelligent, that is looking for things to watch out for, right? That's a good thing. So it is what neuroscientists and many scientists have said, this is what actually helped us to evolve. Because when we're in a moment where we're like scanning the environment, let's say back in the day when we had to protect ourselves from wild animals, we might want to worry about where we can hide because where's the animal going to come from? What do we need to do if this happens or if that happens? So in certain circumstances, it's helpful. But most of the time, it can be a source of suffering.